So my first role in NSBE was actually in 19 something. We don't need to go into those details, but I was actually a publications and public relations chair for the chapter. So I was chapter PR publications, then I was chapter president, and then I was region 3 PR publications, then region 3 chair, and then I became region 3 regional chair. Before becoming a national advisory board member, which is my current position, I was actually a region 3 advisor and a region 2 advisor simultaneously. And then I got asked to join the national advisory board. And of course I accepted. So when I hear the term holistic engineer, I think about the fact that there are a lot of moving parts to us as people. One of those parts is engineer. To me, a holistic engineer understands that we still have responsibility to those other parts. In our community, the Black community, the people of color community, being an engineer is one thing, but learning to be an engineer, getting that education, to me, if you want to be a holistic engineer, that means you take what you've learned and you help the community, you help our people, you help the world. So one of those parts is, understanding that how do we as engineers contribute to what's going on in the world, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's Black Lives Matter, or overall racial equality. A holistic engineer understands that we have to deal with the technical aspect of being an engineer and the non-technical aspect of being an engineer, which is why I love the mission of the society, because it includes both. As national chair, I got the opportunity to meet, hobnob with, and be part of actual conversations with a lot of people, including Jack Welch, who was the CEO of GE at the time. So getting to sit next to Jack Welch as a NSBE national chair at a luncheon or something that GE had sponsored, in that one single moment, I learned so much about being a leader, being a person, and just being responsible. Because if you ever talk to Jack Welch, if you know anything about the guy, he is always about being responsible, doing your work ethic, things of that nature. So that experience alone kind of helped guide me, and it still guides me to the point where I understand that, to whom much is given, much is required. And I'm not saying that I've been given a whole lot, but what I have been given, I can use toward helping other people. And my mantra, my biggest thing is always about helping other people. And so that's why the greatest memory, I would say, is all those different experiences in NSBE that allowed me to learn and allowed me to be the person I am today, and that shaped me into what I would consider a good person, even before being an engineer. I can tell you what motivates me to stay connected to NSBE is the passion for the organization. That passion was driven and built based on everything that NSBE gave me as a young boy that would refuse to get in front of crowds and talk. I mean, I wouldn't even say prayer at Thanksgiving dinner. That was always a contention point between me and my mom. She's a minister, so she always wanted me to pray. And I'm like, it's like 4 or 5 people here. Dre doesn't pray in front of people. Dre doesn't talk in front of people. I become NSBE's national chair, and the next thing I know, I'm in Africa talking to a bunch of people with a PR agent and a publications agent and a whole lot of staff. But I'm in Africa, and I have to get over the fact that I don't like talking in front of people. I was not a public speaker. Now I am. Now I do it on a regular. But that was because of NSBE. So what keeps me connected to NSBE is NSBE can take someone out of their comfort zone and turn them into the person they will need to be once they get out into the workforce, or once they become an entrepreneur, or once they do whatever life has for them. NSBE helps you get those experiences at this level. So I want to be a part of that team that helps people get that experience and make sure that NSBE stays around to give that experience to all of our members, supporters, sponsors, and even our staff. I stay connected for what I can give based on everything that NSBE has given me over the years. I will say that my advice to NSBE members, no matter what level you're on, is to enjoy the experience, maximize the learning, enjoy the learning, enjoy the sleepless nights, enjoy the all-nighters, enjoy those days where you've got 8 calls for NSBE and you got 3 exams tomorrow. Enjoy it, suffer through it, but enjoy it. And the reason I say that is it is building you, it is helping you, it is keeping you on track to be ready to deal with that in the professional world when, if you slip up, it's going to cost you more money. In the professional world, if you miss one of those meetings, you may lose your job and there goes mortgage payment. In the professional world, you don't get the opportunity to learn from your mistakes, because those mistakes cost you. In NSBE, you get the opportunity to do your very best, but you got an organization full of advisors, full of other leaders that will be there to assist you when you fall down and when you make a mistake. So I'm not saying it's okay to make a mistake in NSBE. I'm saying that it's much more forgiving to make that mistake in NSBE. So my advice would be, don't shy away from leadership because you're going to be busy. Guess what? You're going to be busy for the rest of your life, hopefully. You're going to be busy whether you're an entrepreneur, making your own money, whether you're working for corporate, making their money based on what you do. No matter what you do, you're going to be busy. Get used to it. Get accustomed to it. Build you a system that includes time management. Build you a system that includes conflict resolution. Build you a system now that will prepare you to deal with all the things that go with being busy and all the things that go with being a professional, so that you as a member can overcome those hurdles with very little effort. You'd be amazed at how many times I go into a meeting in corporate America and we're meeting because it's Monday. Because of my experience in NSBE, that is the single most thing I hate in corporate America, because it's like, we don't meet because it's a day on the calendar. We meet because there's some things we need to converse about. There's some things we need to do, some things we need to update one another on. So, I made that comment in a couple of meetings, like, look, if you want me to come to this meeting, I need an agenda. What are we discussing? Because if you're a leader in NSBE, you understand that if you go into a meeting without an agenda, you're going to get roasted. So I do that in corporate America. And unfortunately, what has happened is every time I'm in a meeting, they're like, Trey, we'll put together an agenda. That's not what I signed up for. I just said we need an agenda. So sometimes when you speak out, you become that person to have to do it, but that's fine. My experience in NSBE taught me to be able to deal with that situation. And I use it to this day as I have my personal meetings for my business, as I meet for my client, as I just go through life. So the next thing I would tell you to all, this is advice to anybody, whether you're a member, PCI, staff, sponsor, supporter, whatever, build your network. Your network is key. And I don't mean just like know every single person that you come in contact with. I mean, keep their information and send them an email or a text every now and then just to keep in touch with them. I mean, when you go to a career fair and you're talking to a recruiter, if that recruiter takes the time to tell you that, hey, my wife's name is Janice and I got 3 kids, when you walk away, jot that down somewhere so that you can keep it. So that if you ever come in contact with that person again, or when you send them that follow-up email that says, hey, how's Janice and the kids? That kind of stuff is how you build a network. It doesn't mean you need to know all these people personally. It doesn't mean you need to keep in touch with them all the time, because we really can't do that. But this way, when you like them on Facebook, or when you join their IG or any of the social media, they kind of know who you are, because you're going to say something that's slightly personal that they told you. Keep in mind that if they tell you something, it's important to them. So just remember that, even if you just have to write it down in your phone next to their name or whatever the case may be, and the event, but use that, build your network. That network is going to come in handy when you try to get a job, because there may be 1,000 people going for one job. What are you doing that's going to put you on the other side? If you know the hiring manager or the recruiter, and you've had a conversation, you want to make sure that you make that known, right? So you've got to do something to stand out other than just going to school, other than just getting good grades. And that thing is your network. Build a network of people you can rely on. And then when you get to the point where you want to leave corporate America and start your own business, it actually helps you, because you now have a clientele, a base of people that you know that you can send an email to, or send a text to, or even call if you're old school like me, and just say, hey, my name is Dre Willis. I'm starting up this company, and you and I met at NSBE's virtual convention in 2021, and I just wanted to run my idea by you and see what you thought, see what you think. Now that person potentially could become a customer of yours, but they can also give you some valuable advice, because 9 times out of 10, they've been in the workforce a lot longer than you have. So that network you build is crucial. And I would say, my advice is enjoy the experience, even though it may be painful, and build a reliable network and treat that network with respect so that they're around for you when you need them in the future. Thank you.